Hey y'all, it is Cactus Chan here. As you can see on your screen, this is the video beating Nightmare Adjudicator. One thing I will say about this fight right off the bat, it is definitely easier, quote unquote easier, than regular Adjudicator just because you have multiple people, which makes it exponentially easier for healing and buffs and energy regeneration and all that stuff. So while it definitely isn't free by any circumstance, it definitely I would say is easier than regular adjudicator. As far as number of attempts that you're probably going to need, this was our third attempt. Huge shout out by the way to my partner Shru. Um, it big help. He and I obviously are the second and third people to ever beat this boss, Machion being the first. So um, quick rundown on the strategy we used. The goal is to drain Nightmare Adjudicator as fast as possible, just like with regular Adjudicator. So the Blood Mage is going to have to use Parasite as often as possible, obviously. So um, the builds that we're running with are an Ultra Tank, Tactical Mercenary, and a very high HP Blood Mage. Now, the reason that the Blood Mage has 2525 HP is because the Tactical Mercenary has a relatively high amount of HP for compared to how much HP tanks normally have. So, because of that, and because of how much defenses the TLM is going to have, you need to have the Blood Mage have that extremely high amount of HP to guarantee that Nightmare Adjudicator will never attack the Blood Mage, because that's game over if that happens. So the drain phase obviously is the most dangerous and volatile part of the battle. That's where you're going to definitely lose the most. Once he's drained, he isn't too difficult as long as you are fairly careful. Um, for the drained phase, when he is actually at zero energy, obviously he's not going to use Spirit Well, which is why this strategy is possible. So typically, it's not a super formulaic loop like it is for regular adjudicator, but obviously you want to use Infernal Fortitude as often as you possibly can. Um, for Titan Shroud, typically the best way to do that is to, for the first loop, you use it on the turn after Infernal Fortitude. For the second loop, the cooldown will be over right before the second Infernal Fortitude goes down. And for the third Infernal Fortitude, when that goes down, the Blood Mage can use Blood Instinct instead, which kind of acts as a substitute because or not Blood Instinct, but Titan Shroud will not be up yet. And then you can just repeat that cycle because of the 6 turn cooldown. So, um, quick rundown on the cores. The Tactical Mercenary uses Titan Shroud, Infernal Fortitude on primary, obviously, and then the other two cores are Energy Shot and Mana Burst. The Blood Mage will use those two just to get that final 1000 HP down, or 1000 energy down as quickly as possible, just so you can get to the drained phase as soon as possible. Because obviously, as long as he has energy, he's extremely dangerous. Um, for the Tactical Mercenary, you also want to use Critical Heal for your armor. Now, the reason that we use this is because it was buffed a couple of months ago so that the extra healing is 30% instead of 20% for the primary counterpart, which helps immensely in this battle. The maximum amount you can heal with your field medic is 924, which will basically always get you to full HP if you go below 25%, which is fantastic, and it is one of the reasons this battle was possible, to be honest. That being said, you do want to watch out for crits. Typically, you'll want to heal once you dip below about 550 HP, because when you have no buffs on the Tactical Mercenary, his basic strike crits for a little over 500 damage, so you never want to risk an unlucky crit killing you. So at that point, you should heal. And obviously, the Blood Mage is going to be gaining energy all the time from Parasite and from Seeking Spirit. So you can use him as an emergency heal as well. Couple notes on the boss himself. You might notice that it's taking us a lot longer to kill him after he's drained of energy than it actually took us to drain his energy. We drained him on round 55, and it took until round 260 to kill him, over 200 rounds, to take down about 40,000 HP. His defense and resistance is about 650 each on average, from what I've found via empirical data. So the only attacks that are really going to deal any damage are mini Rex. So it's going to take a very long time to take him down. You want to use that mini rage on Rex, obviously, if you can, especially the Blood Mage, but if you don't, it's not a huge deal. It'll just take you a little longer to beat him. As for his skills, he does have the same skills as regular Adjudicator, except obviously he does a lot more damage with them. And also, Spirit Well drains about 470 energy as opposed to 350 for the regular version. The only difference between Nightmare Adjudicator and regular Adjudicator, besides the increased damage output, is they did add a Maelstrom-like attack for him. It pretty much is like Blood Mage's Maelstrom, except it doesn't drain energy from the target, and it can be blocked. But just like Maelstrom, the minimum damage is 200, so if you do happen to block it, it will still deal 200 damage. It's not really that much of a threat. I'm not sure what the purpose of it was, but hey, it's kind of an interesting thing, so just an FYI that is there. So yeah, I did post the builds on Twitter, so they'll be there. I'll put a link to that tweet in the description. I will also post the builds in the Builds and Balance Talks section of the EpicDuel community Discord. If you are not already in that Discord server, I will post a link to that in the description as well. So that is about it. Embarrassingly, I did not actually accept the mission for him, so I'm going to have to beat him again at some point, but that's okay because he is not as hard as I was expecting. So it should be pretty doable. Also, Night Wraith, if you're watching this, you really need to raise the rating points for the achievements for both regular Adjudicator and Nightmare Adjudicator. 1.5 thousand rating points is not enough for both of those guys. So anyway, that is about it. I hope this video was useful for you, and good luck with both of these bosses. See you later.